We're live.
Yes, we are live right now.
Wonderful.
So let's see who are the early people that have joined the session at sharp 7. We do have 8 people. Can you please text a hi here or TBS so that we can get to know who you all people are and so that we can interact with you all?
Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome. Hi. Let's wait for people to join in
Yes.
so that we can start today's session. Hi, Jagdish, Rachel. I mean, go and put this in our community that we are live and share the link and put it there so that we start in 5 minutes.
In the meantime, you can tell us from where you are, from which corner of the world you are watching our session. Oh, so do we have any other people? Okay. Oh, so hey Joseph, can you please tell us from which part of world do you belong? Let's see how much diverse people do we have right now. Let's make it an interactive session. Okay, so I guess there is some technical issue right now. We are connecting.
My internet is
Oh, no issues, no
giving.
issues. So Joseph told us that he is from Kerala. We have Jagdish, he's from Hyderabad working as a blockchain developer. Oh, that's very nice. So
Hello, just
we have a blockchain developer as well who is attending the session on IOTX. So
wonderful.
we have someone from Delhi, and let's see, let's make it an interactive session, people. You can tell us from where do you belong, or if you have any questions about blockchain in general, we can also address that questions in the starting of the session so that your
Amazing.
doubts will be cleared.
So when are we starting up? Let me know.
Uh, I guess we are gaining the people right now. So welcome everyone. Can you please tell us from where do you belong? Do you have any experience about blockchain or know about blockchain?
Come on, man. Have they heard about IOTEX before? Southern Utah, USA. Even live in Polygon.
Like, that's a very interesting question. How can someone live in Polygon? Is it a city as well? I'm not very sure if I've heard about Polygon as a city.
Okay, sure. So I think let's start. Yeah, people will keep joining in. You put it in the community that we're live, and then immediately let's get started.
Yes. In the meantime, you
Hi,
can also share the link to your friends.
IOTEX related to IOTA. No, it's basically I can say like one market, multiple players. So it's one of those players, right? IOTA is one of the players in the market which is working around Internet of Things and blockchain combined.
I also remember I've heard about IOTA in the maths in my early days.
But there's a very it was a pretty famous project back in 2016, 17 when I was attending a couple of conferences and all. Okay, I think we're live, so I think let's take it ahead. People will keep
Yes,
joining and this will
yes,
stick here. So uh, let's start. Give
sure,
can start.
sure, that would be better. So let me like start it up. So we welcome you all to our session on exploring privacy-centric blockchain with IOTX. So let's do it one thing. I guess we have uh, a huge number of people right now. So let's type TBS in the chat box. Let's see how much enthusiastic people we have right now. Let's see how much count do we make. Just simple TBS. Let's see how much active people do we have right now.
Oh, wow, what 164 people are watching it.
Yes. Let's see if it make it to 50.
Cool. I think without further ado, let's start. Ayush, please.
Sure, sure, sure. So let's begin the session. So like the blockchain school has been taking sessions for the community to educate people like you around various topics in the past, and we would be conducting these sessions in the future as well. This session is purely dedicated to understanding how IOTX is bridging the gap between humans and the machines. A little bit introduction about the blockchain school. So the blockchain school is an integrated platform for awareness, education, employability into the blockchain and crypto space. Being a new age startup in edtech, our objective is to help the community understand, experiment, expand, and grow the applications of this innovative technology. The mission is to offer them an ecosystem that supports their vision. So, like a bit of introduction about me. I'm Ayush. I work as a content writer and digital strategist for the Blockchain School. I'll be your host for the session. We have Saurabh here. He is the founder of the Blockchain School. He started this venture early in 2019, where the technology running Bitcoin fascinated him to the core. He understands this entire space with experience in taking sessions for a long time. He's proficient in explaining things diligently. Saurabh will be our mentor for today's session on exploring privacy-centric blockchain with Iotex. In the
Okay,
meantime,
go on, go on. So,
so you can also shoot us your questions in the chat box. We'll be taking in the middle to clear all your doubts around the Iotex. Also, I want to tell to the community that we have giveaways for the session so that we'll have a little engaging part, and to also provide an incentivized learning as we all are digital. Like a binding interest could be a very difficult kind of task, so we have just the MCQs that will be asked in between related to the part or related to the concept that we have explained. What you have to do is, the moment you will get the answer, just type the answer in the chat box, and I'll be keeping the records of all the answers received. Do not type your answers in short forms, that would not be counted. Please type in the full option as your answers. I'll announce the winners of the giveaway after, towards the end of the session. So now I'll be giving over the communication to Saurabh.
welcome everyone. Hi, Sanket, Heather, Amit. I can see a lot of familiar names. We have 200 plus people in the session. I'm as excited as you are to begin the session. IoT as an application, along with artificial intelligence, machine learning, were my forte of interest while I started writing around these technologies. And when this product came across, I thought I will take the session. It fascinated me. So without further ado, let me share my screen and we'll quickly get into the learning side of it. But before that, how many of you're aware with IoT as a kind of a fundamental Internet of Things as a technology? And how many of you have heard about IOTX before, or must have thought about what if IoT and blockchain goes hand in hand? Give me a quick heads up, and we'll get straight into today's session. I'm sharing my screen. Give me a second. Okay, is it visible?
Ah, yes,
Are
it
you
is visible
my
to me.
screen visible? Wonderful. Cool, guys. I think let's get started. As the title suggests, exploring privacy-centric blockchain with IOTeX. Uh, Ayush, you can keep yourself on mute because there's some background noise
Okay, okay,
uh,
sure.
coming in. Right? So while I'm speaking, you can keep yourself on mute. I hope the audio quality is now better. I've stopped hearing the background noise. Today's session, there are a couple of key takeaways around the IOTEX or IoT with blockchain, and there are a couple of more terminologies like proof of stake or delegated proof of stake and things like that. But obviously, as we say a lot of times, new people join in. We see a lot of new faces joining in. So we will definitely start the session with understanding a bit about blockchain, and the people who know blockchain will have a quick recap to it, and we'll throw in the first quiz immediately after getting into what blockchain is. I think we have a good amount of people who knows what is blockchain. So can you quickly write in chat your understanding of blockchain and your understanding for IoT? Uh, Quickly, so that I can move forward and give you my definition of what is blockchain and what is IoT, and then we talk about the amalgam or the sync of these two really fascinating things coming together and disrupting so many good stuff. So, can you quickly write in chat your understanding of blockchain and your understanding of IoT as a concept? Any one person can quickly write in, and we can just move forward and uh, learn it by ourselves. So, okay, Ayush, are we getting any answers? I cannot see the screen.
So far, we haven't got any answer. Like, let's see.
Okay, cool. So I think they will keep answering, but I'll quickly move forward, right?
Yes,
So when we say
so
block,
we
uh
we have received answers. So Math of Mehta says that the blockchain improves security.
uh
Are you can you see it right now on the screen?
no, I cannot see it, but yeah, I can see it on my phone.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, blockchain is decentralized database with immutable and tamper-proof technique. Yeah, cool. I think all the definitions are revolving around the same concept. Ayush, mute.
Exactly.
Uh,
Sure.
the- uh, it revolves around very similar things, right? And these are those three keywords which supports the fundamental of blockchain, which is security, programmable and distributed. But what comes to your mind when we actually say blockchain is basically two keywords, block and chain. Here, blocks basically holds data, and block plays a role of basically ledger, which is there stored on internet, and chain is something that is basically connecting all these blocks or all these ledgers and together forming a blockchain. It has multiple benefits to it. It was possible even earlier before blockchain. Everything was possible, but what comes in picture with blockchain is the nature of itself, decentralized nature, distributed and immutable in terms of security. With IoT, Internet of Things, we want to connect the world, we want to connect all the devices and make them smart devices. And when we say it, obviously, when we say that we want to make every device a smart device, there's definitely a threat of security, privacy, and a lot of other amalgamation or things. Now, when IoT and blockchain tries to goes hand in hand, there's definitely something really cool that comes out. Now, before moving forward, I want to quickly check your activeness in this session and throw the first question towards you. How do we write the name of the network that powers IOTX? Now, IOTX is a token which is basically native to a network. How do we write that? Can you quickly write in chat and we pick up our winner? Ayush, you can unmute yourself, uh,
Sure.
pick it up, and quickly we move ahead. Give me a heads up and mute yourself. I think we have pretty much a lot of answers I can see on my phone.
Yes.
Okay, we must have got a winner. Just keep it. Let's not reveal who's the winner. Keep a list with you so that I can announce in the end what we're gonna do with them.
Sure, sure, sure. Like
Mute
I'll
yourself,
keep a track of all the names.
100%. So we write it in a way where we write it IoTEX, where E is a small I, please note it, where we write E as a small kind of a thing. So this is how we write, and I can see a lot of right answers, and this was there on the very first presentation, very first slide of the presentation. So we're just trying to understand how quick you are in terms of your attention. Now, what does this IOTEX means, right? So IOTEX is basically defined as Internet of Trusted Things. Now, IOTEX is basically a private blockchain within a blockchain, okay, which is a scalable solution for powering Internet of Things. So you can like think it as it's designed to basically connect the physical world of internet devices blocks with the power of technology or with the power of internet, right? So it basically provides you a faster and scalable kind of a solution using blockchain. Now, what exactly are we trying to use when it comes to blockchain? So there's a term called proof of stake. Now, how many of you know proof of stake? Can you write in chat? How many of you know already what does proof of stake means, or even what is proof of work means? Because that's where then we moved on to proof of stake. Just say yes, not necessarily I want a definition, but you know what is proof of stake. Great, Jagdish, I can see that you know it. Wonderful. Okay, so we have a good audience which has a fair idea about what I'm talking, and that's what I love about the community sessions and the community overall. So if you know what is a proof of stake, then I think we should move forward to talk more about IOTEX. It's basically a privacy centric blockchain. Now, when we say Internet of Things or smart devices, they're on internet coming together with blockchain, the first thing that we chase and we try to solve is privacy, right? And privacy-centric blockchain managing the entire information lifecycle of an Internet of Thing network. It includes data collection, it includes transport, it includes storage and utilization altogether. So you can take an example of maybe a smart speaker. So just to give you an example, I have kept a speaker next to me as a prop. So in the smart speaker, I can basically give a command. The speaker will start performing certain activities for me. But what happens when someone tries to tamper with it or someone tries to hack it? And my privacy is definitely hampered because now someone else can listen to my day-to-day communication via that smart device. When it comes to blockchain, when we are basically trying to bring it on blockchain, we're trying to increase the security of it, solving the privacy concerns that we have, and making the world a better place. So to give you a context, like IoTeX began to build the Internet of Trusted Things, where all physical and virtual things like human, machines, businesses, and even decentralized applications can efficiently exchange information and value at a global scale. So when we're talking blockchain, we're definitely aware that this technology runs on distributed systems across the globe. So whatever solution that we're trying to build here is we're trying to build it at scale. Now, what this allows, right? So this allows humans which can seamlessly transact with machine in new sharing economy and a data as a service use case. Now, to break this statement down, you and me are peers, which is basically trying to transact with machines. Here, transaction can be anything. Transaction can be data, information, or money, right? So, in this like a new sharing economy, or as we say, the data as a service use case, we are just trying to improve this using IOTEX. How? I'll definitely get there. Machines can interact directly with other machines to power decentralized autonomous organization. Now, there's a very interesting trend going on in our ecosystem called DAOs. Now, what DAO does is basically currently, if you look at organizations that are running with hierarchies of directors, managing directors, heads, and managers, and a lot of things, we basically bring that entire element down to a community governed or a community driven sort of a society or an environment or a nature, which is basically every single every single unit. I cannot call it as a unit, but a single body that is involved in the system or the community becomes the powering unit for the organization. And that's what how the DAO works. So here machines can interact directly with other machines to power DAOs. Businesses can collaborate with other businesses to achieve new levels of collective intelligence and impact. So these are a couple of points which IOTeX is trying to solve. I'll try to explain you with a visual just in a minute, but before that, let me just take you through the statements. And humans, machines, and businesses can access trusted decentralized applications to perform various processes and tasks with full data privacy. Now, you must be having certain question that how this happens. How can I visually see that the working mechanism of all the four statements that I just mentioned? So this is basically I'll have to explain you on which sort of layer or a governing layer or a gravity layer the IOTeX is basically running. What's the root chain or what the main chain and things like that. So I'll take you to an image to explain you this in an easy term. But before that, I'll throw a question towards the audience. Are you all ready? So the question goes: how does IOTeX brand itself? A, Internet of Trust; B, Internet of Trusted Things; C, Internet of Things; and D, Internet of IoTeX. Please write full answer with the option, and we'll pick up one winner. No B's and A's. We want like whatever C answer or D or whatever, right? We need a full answer. We'll pick up the winner. I think we have got our winner uh, already. I'll wait for a few seconds and I'll quickly move ahead. Ayush, you can keep yourself on mute and keep uh, noting out the names.
Yes, I'm keeping a track of all the numbers.
Sure, thank you. Wonderful. So, without further ado, let's get into it. The right answer here is Internet of Trusted Things. I mentioned it on the first slide. IoTeX is basically building Internet of Trusted Things. Now, before getting here, I'll get you to this image. Something there's on my screen is visible. Oh, yes, it's visible. So if you look at this image, there is a base layer. So just to make it jargon free, look at this image like infrastructure or your house itself. Okay, so there's something that's there in underground. There's basically a gravity chain or a layer which is basically a governance layer, the base layer for IOTeX. Now there's a root chain which is basically supporting the gravity chain or supporting the governance layer to IOTeX, and then there's basically a main chain that is layer 2. So IOTeX runs on layer 2. What is layer 2? Layer 2 is basically a layer to the main kind of layer which tries to improvise things or make things faster and better. That's why IOTeX built themselves on layer 2. So IOTeX layer 2 chain, that is trusted computing and IoT devices hub. So if you see a couple of nodes here, there are machines, there are businesses, humans, and applications that are involved. Right now, there's definitely an exchange of something that's constantly happening between all the nodes. Okay, there's exchange, there's assets, there's data exchange, and lot more. So now this entire thing is basically happening on layer 2 chain of IOTX with the help of something called DPoS, that is delegated proof of stake. Now what I'll do is I'll break it down for you. Proof of stake is basically okay, I haven't defined it yet. So proof of stake works on the mechanism of staking where you, me, and all the other people stake a certain amount of tokens, and the amount of tokens that I am holding or you're holding, the power that I get is equivalent to the staking of those tokens or the holding of those tokens. So in this nature of consensus or in this nature of governance, right, the amount of staking of certain tokens that I'm able to do, I have a equivalent power to validate the transactions, validate the activities, or even approve like block producer or approve a block or create a block. Now, what delegated proof of stake, that is something which is a USP to IOTeX, what they are doing is they are basically giving this entire power and distributing it to the community, right? So delegated proof of stake works with the power of community, where the power doesn't stay only in the hands of people who have good amount of token staking, but it also creates a mechanism for the community where things have been decided automatically, predefined, or written earlier, where the mechanism runs for the community on the efforts of their staking or on the activities of staking. Now, there's one thing that's consensus algorithm. Okay, so there's something called role delegated proof of stake. So root chain, right? Something that I just showed you, the second chain or the second layer in the diagram. Root chain is a robust foundation for future layer 2 chains and dApps. So something that is basically powering all the applications built for Internet of Trusted Things or IOTEX is root chain. Now, root chain, it utilizes role DPoS, that is delegated proof of stake consensus, to guarantee security, reliability, and transparency. The root chain provides peer-to-peer networking and consensus resources, which are leveraged by all L2 chain in the IOTEX network. Now, what is happening here? Here, I can only show you one layer 2 chain. There can be multiple. So, what exactly root chain is taking power? Root chain is actually powering the layer 2 chains of IOTEX. And then it has multiple things like your machines and businesses and humans and applications that are interacting with it constantly, right? Now, what is happening is there's definitely we cannot define things prior because delegate. So you can take delegates as representatives or people who are basically representing your network or representing your chain. Uh, like earlier, we've learned about proof of work, but what made companies like IOTEX to actually depend on proof of stake was very different, right? So proof of work and proof of stake goes just really different. But what was happening with proof of work was there was a different model altogether where the computation power used to be high. And it has multiple reasons altogether. It was impacting environment, as well impacting the speed and optimization, and a lot of stuff. Now, what proof of stake brings in picture is the amount of staking that I'm able to do, the amount of tokens that I'm able to stake. I'm getting equivalent power in the community to perform certain activities or validations. Now, with this proof of stake or randomized delegated proof of stake, it delivers higher scalability without sacrificing decentralization or security. So it is a preset sort of or a predefined sort of a model where uh, role DPoS randomly selects 24 out of 36 community elected delegates using something called distributed key generation. Now, what is happening here is like there are a lot of other nodes are also involved in the activities or things like that. Now, what delegated proof of stake is doing here is randomly selecting a set of, let's say, 24 delegates or nodes or people. I cannot say people, but basically delegates using something called DKG, that is distributed key generation. And there's one more thing that is BLS signatures. So it is basically to use to be to put in the validation. Now, new delegates are randomly selected every 1 hour to ensure higher security and hardware efficiency. Now they've created a model in a way where there's no confusion, there's no hierarchy, and there's no challenge when it comes to selection of delegates or who gonna do it. So there can be a case where I am holding a lot of I'm holding or I'm staking a lot of tokens, right? And I then start expecting that the power is coming towards me. So what is happening? What happens when people like me, like the tons of people like me who comes in the picture, having a good amount of staking with them and expecting to get the power of validating the blocks or new block producer or things like that. So they've created a system in itself where 24 delegates are selected on the or like of the top of like 36 community elected delegates. So community first elect delegates, and then out of which 24 are selected to get this thing sorted. Now there's something called Ethereum to IOTEX bridge. So when like IOTEX had no governance layer, like and it's on quarter 3 and quarter 4, governance task will be like run on Ethereum. So to facilitate this cross chain like network interoperability, a first of its kind decentralized bridge between IOTEX and Ethereum was built, where the status of Ethereum staking and voting smart contracts instruct the IOTEX blockchain to perform
It's
delegated swaps
7:30.
based on live voting results. So until IOTEX had their own governance layer, they were leveraging Ethereum's layer and bridging it with IOTeX to basically simply perform all these activities and selection of delegates or swapping delegates on the basis of live voting results via the community governance model. Coming to one question, how much time does it take to select new delegates? I have mentioned that there's a span of something. Is it 2 hours or 3 hours or 9 hours or 1 hour? Can you quickly write in chat? I'm waiting for the answers though. Quickly, quickly. You sure? Is it 1 hour? Lovely. Ayush, keep the track. I'm moving forward in 3 seconds maybe. Okay. Yes. So the time was 1 hour. Now, the people who have made a mistake in terms of giving the right answer, you can definitely go back to this here, right? So new delegates are randomly selected every 1 hour to ensure high security and hardware efficiency. Now, what that means is, let's say I am a delegate or a system is a delegate, which gets the power to validate the block or validate the transactions on this chain. Now, what happens here is when I have the power, there's always a threat to privacy or security or things like that. And that's why it's definitely. And also, there's one more thing, right? So there's a lot of more delegates are waiting in the queue with a good amount of staking. So there's definitely a randomly selection of new delegates happens, which is basically ensuring your high security and also hardware efficiency, because when new delegates comes in picture, it's definitely an involvement of new hardware uh, and vice versa. But what is the use of IOTeX token? So we know what IOTeX is trying to do. How it's trying to basically solve this problem using blockchain. Uh, but there's one thing which revolves around IOTeX is their token. Now, I think if you have any questions, please feel free to put in. I missed asking if you guys have any questions. Please put in chat. I would love to answer them, or we'll move forward. Uh, I'm waiting for your questions though.
If you have any doubts regarding IoTeX, or like if any concept is missed, you can shoot us your questions.
Is BLS signature used like nonce for security? Obviously, it's used for the purpose of validation. Maybe you can consider in that sense. Crisp Z is role depots like weighted around Robin algorithm. Uh, I'm not sure. Crisp Z. I think I'm not sure. I won't take it. But like weighted, I've read somewhere this Robin algorithm thing, but again, I'm not sure. Is IOTeX on each blockchain or an independent chain? So the token is an ERC20 token. It was leveraging Ethereum blockchain, but they have their own governance chain now. Will it affect the gas fee on Ethereum while using the bridge? I'm definitely coming there, Diamond, London. Cool. Thank you so much for all your questions. Let's move forward. So, moving forward, talking about IOTeX token. The IOTeX native token is a utility token which will be used in both the root chain. Will be not. It's now using in root chain, that is abstraction layer, and gravity chain, that is governance layer. And beyond this, it has like a couple of more use cases. So something that I showed you in the very first picture, IOTeX native token or IOTeX token is basically used to power both the first chains, right? Something apart from your layer two chain, root and the gravity, this governance chain. Now, talking about decentralized governance, right? When I said DAO, or when I mentioned community governance or delegated proof of stake, it's basically a model of decentralized governance where the staking and voting for delegates, delegate rewards and slashing, or basically removing or just eliminating network wide votes and basically referendums that is changed to rules, parameters, and protocols. So this entirely is one of the use cases where the token gonna power these kind of activities. The second is gas fees. Now, for running transactions and executing smart contracts on the IOTEX network, so as we mentioned, so IOTEX is an independent network, right? So one novelty is that gas fees are collected as a tax and then pooled and distributed to block producing delegates. Now, all the delegates that are there in the network will receive these incentives via the collection of tax, as they say it, or gas fee, in terms of the transactions. Uh, and they're pooled and distributed to all the block producing delegates. One more thing is bond operation cost for L2 chain. So the main, I cannot say main chain, but the chain which was powering all the technology and the devices and all four components like human, organization, machine, and stuff. So the token is also used for L2 chain or layer 2 chain. This is to basically provision a layer 2 chain. One must take tokens on the root chain as bonds and pay for operational cost. Now, each layer 2 chain may have its own crypto economics and tokens, but will pay registration cost to leverage root chain resources. Now, there can be like multiple layer 2 chains, right, with their own sort of use cases, with their own sort of activities. Now, the so basically the main funda here is that each L2 chain may have its own crypto economics and tokens, but the fees that they're paying, the registration cost to basically leverage the root chain or the power of root chain, is being spent using Iotex token. Uh, any questions so far? I'll check the chat though. Will it affect the gas fee? I've just answered. Okay, so I think it's not answered, Diamond. Will it affect the gas fee on Ethereum while using it as a bridge? I don't think so. It will affect the gas fee on Ethereum, but for IOTEX network, it will definitely, because they have their own utility token and the model, the mechanism around it. Okay, now it's time for the next question. So how do we address the collection of gas fee on the IOTEX network? What is called? It's called registration cost, staking cost, tax, or novelty. Can you quickly write in chat? What do we call it? I'll wait for the answers. Okay, we have a lot of answers. Nice. A lot of people are actually giving the right one. Nice. That means you're able to understand. So then definitely there's a complexity when it comes to a product, or cannot make you master in an hour long session. But the funda of even taking this kind of community session is to aware the community that something like this exists, so that you are aware with more and more use cases around blockchain. And I think that's the best thing of doing certain community activities and sessions. Okay, let's move forward. So it's called tax. I've mentioned that they called the gas fee tax. The fee is basically called as a tax. So thank you, whosoever answered all the right, whosoever answered it right. How delegates are elected and the power of vote. Now, definitely, we have a L2 chain, we have a root chain, and we have a governance chain. We are definitely using a randomized, delegated proof of stake mechanism or an algorithm. But how these delegates are selected and what's the power of a vote? And now you can consider it as delegates are elected by token holders to run consensus on behalf of the entire network. Okay, I'll say it again. So delegates are elected by token holders. So you, me, eventually become the token holders for IOTEX network, and we will be we will be getting the power to elect delegates to basically run the consensus or to run the mechanism on behalf of the entire network, right? So what are the primary roles of it, right? So the first role of basically us is to actually is to grow and maintain the network by providing robust node infrastructure. Second is to maintain like high server uptime, because if If server uptime is not higher, then we are actually building a mechanism that is community driven or a delegated driven. Then there can be a mess. A third is collaborating with other delegates to run the consensus. Uh, the purpose is again the basic fundamental of a consensus mechanism or a delicatedness or kind of thing, right? So collaborating with other delegates to run the consensus. And fourth is contributing to like various network initiatives. The purpose is basically when we have more networks, when we have more layer to chains in the network, how do we also put in the value so that we are empowering or impacting or improving those network initiatives as well. And that's why the role of delegates are here to also contribute to various network initiatives. Now, to explain you how voting happens, so voting is conducted in a fully decentralized manner. In the IOTeX network, like one token is equals to one vote, and voter can also get bonus votes by setting a predefined staking duration. So now, how ironic that we are following democracy in DPS to decentralized control. Chris, yes, correct. But I think that's the essence of this product, right? So or the essence of how they've structured their product or how they've actually defined their product. So that's okay, I think. Following the democracy in decentralized delegated proof of stake. So now when I say that one token is equals to one vote, here voter can also get bonus votes by setting a predefined stake duration. So let's say I want to stake for a longer period of time, I don't want to stake for a shorter period of time, so I get an opportunity to add more bonuses when it comes to the voting or when it comes to the vote uh, for a predefined staking duration. Now, one more thing that I want to add, right? So, like there are currently 50 plus IOTEX delegates from 20 plus countries, including developers, community, media, university, enterprise, and funds and VCs as well, venture capitalists. This also includes also included are like experienced nodes operator from other proof of stake or delegated proof of stake network. So there are a couple of them, right? So there's EOS, there's Tezos, Tron, List, and the list goes on. So there are currently 50 plus IOTEX delegates from 20 plus countries, which is basically eventually improving the system or improving the network at scale. Any questions? I'll just quickly check the chat. We are moving towards the end of it, and I really wanted to keep the session crisp and precise, but had more things to discuss in the sense where we know the nature of Internet of Things devices. We know the nature of this technology, and we saw there were a lot of challenges when it comes to privacy and certain things like that. But what blockchain is trying to power or blockchain is trying to provide is that level of assurance when it comes to privacy security and the mechanism that it builds altogether. And one more thing that came to my course of research was someone just mentioned the iota thing, right? So it was pretty famous, but iotex is definitely trying to differentiate in terms of creating the network or creating this entire mechanism in a very different way, right? So one more thing, right? So like starting out to give a gist about IOTeX as a project, right? So this started as an open source project in 2017, and IOTeX is built like a decentralized platform who aims to empower the internet of trusted things, as they say, right? Maybe an open ecosystem where people and machines can interact with guaranteed trust, fees, and obviously full privacy, as they mention, right? So I think if there's no question, let's move forward, and we will take another question. Here is, how many countries does IOTEX has its delegates? Quickly, can you answer me? How many? Okay, we got our, okay. Fast. Oh, Dhawal, one vote is equals to one vote. One token is equal to one vote than 50. What? No, I don't know what you're trying to say. You can I think clearly mention the question, but that's okay. There were a couple of more things, right, which had in my notes, which I wanted to bring it up, right. I think, are you interested in listening to what has initiated IOTeX? What was the idea of IOTeX? So, like the number of IoT devices, again, research says, right. So the number of IoT devices are expected to exceed by 50 billion by 2022. That is just next year, and that's a huge number. And this is like a immense number of internet connected devices, which will also need secure methods of communication and automation in real time. Okay, and there are several problems that have prevented the mass adoption of IoT technology. So I personally have been listening to IoT or Internet of Things as a keyword for over 4 to 5 years in my journey, but I haven't seen the level of mass adoption that has occurred in the nature of IoT, right? So, what are those couple of challenges, right? So, I personally felt like scalability was one of that challenge. Lack of privacy was one of the challenge. We have like smart doors, smart homes, smart speakers, and smart TVs, and smart cars and whatnot, right? But lack of privacy was this. One more core reason was like the operation cost was higher, and functional value was lacking, right? So, like what IOTEX plans on solving these problems with a privacy centric blockchain, which basically, as they say, right, providing a flexible and scalable by basically. So I think what they are doing is leveraging the consensus mechanism that is based on proof of stake, combined with the use of side chains, as we mentioned, right? So when these two things or three things comes together or combines together, there's definitely an experimentation towards something at scale. Now, IOTEX isn't like without competition. Like one of its largest competitors, IOTA, as someone mentioned, which is using something different. They're using directed cyclic graph technology, that is DAG technology, to solve scalability issue, right? But what IOTEX is utilizing is delegated proof of stake, which is definitely lovely. Uh, in terms of architecture, I wanted to mention about architecture as well. So IOTEX is aiming to become like a spinal cord and nervous system to all the IoT ecosystem. This architecture includes couple of things, right? So uh, there are a couple of duties for every IoT device, and there are a couple of features to all the IoT devices, right? So how can we separate duties, or separation of duties? So what I'm trying to say is, when dealing with IoT, there are like many different features needed in a blockchain, because different applications have different needs. I'm sorry, there's a quick power cut, but I hope I'm audible. Am I audible, Ayush?
Yes, you are audible right now.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, so now the another thing was privacy. So what if we bring in the built-in kind of privacy opportunity or an option with IoT devices? Lovely, right? And one more thing was making the devices friendly, in a sense, like IoT friendly. So IoT blockchain solution needs to be like lightweighted and minimize energy usage, as well as storage and computation needs. We cannot keep it in a very similar fashion when we saw Bitcoin scale, or Ethereum scale. They really need more lightweighted sort of energy usage kind of structures, or architectures or mechanisms. And so one unique design feature of IoTeX is like its blockchains can run like alongside each other and retain interoperability. So this is done through the use of a root chain combined with sidechain. So something to assure you, there's a governance chain, there's root chain. When they're combined, when they're together, it basically solves that kind of a problem. And I think, yeah, cross blockchain communication, where we saw the side chain and main chain are communicating in a sense, and those can be like a cross thing and like. But one more doubt that comes in like my mind while researching about IOTEX was, how is the IOTEX network secured, right? So to answer that, IOTEX basically had, once again, yeah, so IOTEX has like several mechanisms that ensures the privacy of users and transactions. Some of these are basically ring signatures and reliable payment code that hides the transactions of receiver address. So one more thing, right? So when we are basically transacting, or doing some sort of network transactions, what it is mentioning, or what is leveraging, is basically the kind of nature. Okay, so some of this basically using signatures, and the reliable payment code that hides the transaction of the receiver's address and things like that. And I already spoken about IOTeX token. One more thing that I want to add is more about IOTeX token. So IOTeX token is basically an ERC20 token built on Ethereum, right? That is will be swapped to a native token. So now they have a great kind of a token economics model. I usually don't speak about token economics, but here I'll love to speak about token economics. They have a total capped supply of like 10 billion tokens, out of which 1.3 is in circulation, right? And the mainnet happened back in 2019 itself. Now it's publicly listed, publicly tradable, and things like that. Now you must be wondering, where can you stake the tokens, or where can you participate, or where can you trade IOTeX token? So like definitely, as I say, it's tradable. It's definitely there up on exchanges and platforms. So one of those platform is WazirX. Like, we are an education partner to WazirX, and we do believe in the platform, and that's why IOTeX is listed. It was recently listed on WazirX. So if you want to trade, if you want to buy, sell IOTeX token, WazirX is a go-to platform. With that said, we are towards the end of the session, and we're here. So you have any questions? Something what Smokescreen77 said. What he said, by the way, I need to scroll up and check. Can you please write it down here? I'm not able to find the question. Ayush, do you have any questions with
Uh,
the?
no,
Okay, we're back.
not right
We're
now.
back. We're back. Tejas with love. Can you please write your question, is possible, if possible? We do have, okay, compared to ETH and Polygon, what type of gas fee should we expect in IOTEX? Okay, I think much cheaper, yeah, honestly, because when we say gas fee for IOTEX, it's happening on IOTEX network. I cannot give you an exact figure, but what I know for a fact is IOTEX utility token is basically a native to the network itself, and IOTX, right? So it is definitely much cheaper, because even they need more operators to participate and do transaction on the network. So it's gonna be definitely much lesser than Ethereum. Cannot say about Polygon. Polygon still less comparative to Ethereum. So I can definitely say it's much cheaper than Ethereum. What else do we have? Do we have more questions, guys? We have 7 more minutes to end the session. Love it. Thank you so much, bro. You like the session? How was this session? Do you want to know all the winners, or no? Or we should reach out to them independently? Does IoTeX has any hard stop to get data only from IoT devices? Jagdish, uh, let's do something here. I think I'm not aware with what you're asking, but we can roll out a couple of sources and FAQs in the community. If you're part of our Telegram group, Ayush, can you share a link in the chat for our Telegram group? If you're not part of the Telegram,
For
we'll
sure.
roll out a list of FAQs and list of sources in the Telegram group itself. Where can I learn more about IoTeX? We'll list down this resources on our source uh, segment. Just supporting his answers choice. Okay, Tejas is not working like that. I read something about burning drop concept in token economics in IoTeX website. Can you explain that burning drop concept? Joseph, can you elaborate a bit? What was the context to it? I think I'll be able to break it down for you then. Otherwise, I'll just do it for you. Burning drop concept. X. Okay, so burned up. Okay, so burned up is an innovative token economics design where 1 billion IOTEX, 10% of total supply will be burnt and dropped. Oh, nice! This is a burning mechanism which majority of tokens are following, right? So dropped on board of the first 1 million powered by IOTEX devices. This also means the token supply will decrease for every newly registered devices. Okay, so over the period of time, Joseph, what happens is if we do not keep the burning mechanism, the value of so there's a constant check of value of the token, right? To keep it stable, to keep it right. There's definitely a process of burning that happens in a lot of token economics, and they have kept it really well. So this is to basically power the devices, all the new registered devices that are coming on IOTeX network. There's definitely a concept of burn drop thing. Do you have 245 people back? Dude, we're coming to the end of the session. I saw there was a drop in between, but it's okay. Uh,
They actually want to know the winners of the quiz. This is the reason why we are having an increase in
okay,
audience.
copy the list and put it in the chat, and I'll quickly read out the names. From Tejas with love, thank you so much.
Sure.
How was the session, guys? We'll bring in more. We are actually planning to focus more on community from now onwards. We've onboarded Ritika to lead the community. She's definitely here. I'm pretty sure she's learning. She's always learning. So we'll scale up the community sessions. But how was it? Have you loved it? Please comment and show support. Nice one. Akhil Jackson. Thank you so much. So, dude, like obviously we can like keep speaking about the use cases forever, but what we wanted to cover in 1 hour was something that's in existence, something that's up and running, something that recently got. So, I think the purpose was obviously like a lot of you are interested in investing in cryptocurrencies as well, but lack in terms of finding the right use cases. So, this was one of those use cases. We saw recently listing happened, and there was a good amount of talks happening in the community, so we immediately brought in the thing. Okay, so there was a little bit of mess with the alignment, but whatever. So the first winner is
Exactly.
Ansh, second is Anshul, third is Jagdish, fourth is Crisp, and fifth is Shilpi. So people who, okay, I have something really interesting now. People who have not made to the list, quickly go and participate in a meme contest. Do not worry what sort of meme you gonna create. Just create something, post it up. We are extending the deadline by 12 hours or so. So you have like 4 or 5 hours now to go and take a look and participate. There we have like a more prize and less entries this time. So go chase it, and you can be still be the winner. I invested today for the first time in cryptocurrency and landed it. Chris, salute, buddy. Lending works really well. So I am a big fan of staking, lending, and things like that. So I recently started exploring it. Uh, so lovely. But as I said, first one is Ansh, second is Anshul, third is Jagdish, fourth is Crisp, fifth is Shilpi. What you guys need to do is note down this email called hello at the rate the blockchain school.io. Okay. So I just dropped an email address in front of you. Note this email address. Put your name, your mobile number, and your registered email address with WazirX wallet. As we say, we are an education partner to WazirX. We can send you your prize money via WazirX wallet quickly. Uh, in 5 business days, you will receive it. Do not hurry, do not rush. But all five winners, congratulations. People who are not made it to the list, it's okay. We have two exciting things going on in the community. Is one meme contest that will end really, really soon. So go and participate. If you don't have a link of Telegram group, go and search the Blockchain School HQ on Telegram. You will find the group. Join it right now. Participate in the meme contest of IOTeX, because now you know IOTeX. You can definitely go and take a leap of faith and participate in that. We also dropped a reel on our social media. We dropped a detailed thread on our Twitter. We pushing FAQs and resources in next 1 or 2 days. So let's go gaga and let's create a couple of memes and share a word in the community that yeah, we have done a session around IOTeX. The session will stick here on our YouTube. You can come back and watch it later if you have missed it. Congratulations once again to all the winners. Participate in meme contest. And one more thing that's going on, the earn and learn model that we recently launched a platform and a course right around Polygon. There's a learn and earn model going on for early adopters. Uh, if you have done it, how many of you have done the course around Polygon, which I was a proud instructor of? Can you write in chat? And then we'll just quickly end this session. We'll say goodbye. If you have any other questions, please feel free to put it. Anshul, amazing session. Would love to keep more sessions like this every weekend. Anshul, done.
It's 8
Promise you
o'clock.
that we'll bring in more. Uh, in progress. Lovely. It's 8 o'clock. Wonderful. Let's. I think session has come to an end. You all must have received an email right now. Put your feedbacks. Kindly put your feedbacks so that we know how do we improve our next session, or should we do it again in terms of motivation that people have loved it. So we need to bring in more. Thanks, guys. I'm new to the space and would love to learn more Polygon 101. Yo, thank you so much. Wonderful, guys. Thanks a lot for joining in. I have a lot of common names in front of me. 125 people are still sticking by. That was my first time hooked. Thank you so much. Halfway through the Polygon. Don't like take screenshot of all this, or when you go to YouTube, we need to get all this in the comments. Guys, like this is a live comment section. A small favor, once the session is over, do comment on video. We will get a reach. We want to reach to more audience and get this word out that the blockchain school exists. With that note, thank you so much for joining. Have a good weekend ahead. Thank you.
Thank you everyone for joining this session.
And we're saying it goodbye. Saying goodbye. We're saying goodbye. Okay, let's end it, guys. Like the video. 180 people are watching and there's 25 likes. What's wrong? Please like the video and see you in the next one. Let's end the broadcast quickly,
Sure,
Ayush. Bye,
sure.
guys. Meme content